Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation, we're going to take a look at how we go about creating a Python 3 simple HTTP server. The Python 3 simple HTTP server is a built-in HTTP server in which you don't have to install and configure anything. Therefore, for pen testing or hacking, the simple HTTP server is a very convenient tool. The Python 3 simple HTTP server can turn any directory into a simple HTTP web server. For this lab, I'll be using one installation of VirtualBox with the extension pack, one virtual install of Kali Linux, and one virtual install of any Windows operating system. Ensure both of your machines are using the same VirtualBox network adapter types. My Kali and Target are configured for host-only adapter for this lab. You'll next need to discover the IP address for both your Kali machine and for your Target. From your Windows Target, go to Start, open up a command prompt, and at the prompt type in ipconfig. This is the IP address for your local area connection. Now this is my IP address, your IP address will differ. To discover the IP address on your Kali machine, open up a terminal, and at the prompt type in ifconfig. Hit enter, and you're going to want to locate the IP address for your Ethernet 0 adapter. This is the IP address for my Ethernet 0 adapter on my Kali machine. Your IP address will differ. To ensure that you're going to have a trouble-free lab experience, you're going to want to check for connectivity between your Kali machine and your Target. To do this, open up a terminal, and at the terminal you're going to type in ping, the IP address of your Target machine. To break out of this sequence, go ahead and hit Control-C. If you don't have the positive responses back from ICMP, ensure that both of your operating systems are using the same VirtualBox network adapter types. In this lab scenario, I have a file that I need to transfer to a Target machine running Metasploitable 3 Server 2008. On my Kali desktop, I have a working folder called Shellcodes with a file ready to go. The file could be anything I need to have transferred to my Metasploitable target. This target could be any operating system that can launch a web browser. But in this example, I'm running Metasploitable 3, which is an intentionally vulnerable Windows Server 2008 install. We're now ready to start the lab. So anywhere on your Kali desktop, just right-click, and from the context menu, you're going to select Create a Folder. Now I've named my work folder Shellcodes, but you are free to give your work folder a user-friendly name of your choosing. Once you have that working folder created, go ahead and right-click on it, and from the context menu, select Open Terminal here. We are now running this terminal inside of our working directory, so anything that we create will end up inside of that working directory. In this case, we're going to create a payload using MSF-Venom. Now at the prompt, you're going to type in MSF-Venom, give it a space, -P, that's the payload, Windows/metapredator/bind_TCP, give it a space. The file type that we're going to create using the -F switch is exe, so type in -F, give it a space, exe, give it a space, the greater than sign, and that means save my file to this location. The location is going to be the root desktop / the name of your work folder. Mine is called Shellcodes. Give it a /. Now you have to give it a name for the file. I'm calling my file bind.exe. When you've done all that, go ahead and hit enter. And back at your desktop, if you did everything correctly, you can open up your work folder, and inside you should see that file that we just created using that MSF-Venom code. If you don't see the file inside of the working directory, that's because you fat-fingered it, and you're going to have to go back and figure out how to correctly type in the path for that file. Now back at your Kali desktop, right-click on your working folder one more time. From the context menu, select Open Terminal here. We're now ready to create our Python 3 simple HTTP server. To do this, at the prompt, you just type in Python 3 space, give it a -M, give it a space. Now type in http.server. When you got everything typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. Now that server is currently listening on port 8000, which is the default port for the simple HTTP server. It's important that you leave the terminal up and running for the simple HTTP server. Do not close out the terminal or you will close out the HTTP server. Now you can minimize this terminal, that's fine, but do not close it out. We're now ready to switch on over to our target machine and play the victim. So let's go ahead and bring up our target machine. And from our desktop, let's click on the Start button. And from the Start button, we're going to go ahead and open up a browser. Whatever the browser may be, it makes no difference. It can be Firefox, it can be Chrome, it can be IE, it can be Edge. It makes no difference. In your browser's address bar, you're going to type in http:// the IP address of your Kali machine, give it a colon, and the default port that is running HTTP on that simple HTTP server, which is 8000. Once you've done that, go ahead and hit enter. And if you did everything correctly, you're going to get a directory listing inside of that working folder, and it's going to show you what's currently present. The only thing that's present inside of the working folder at this time is the bind.exe file. The victim can now double-click the bind.exe file that's located up inside of our HTTP simple server, and he has a choice. They can either run it or they can save it. Delivering the payload to the victim could be done using social engineering and a carefully crafted email with an embedded link for my remote web server. The victim visits the web server and downloads and launches the payload. How you get the payload delivered is all up to you. What I am doing here is for brevity's sake. Don't get wrapped around the axle about my lack of social engineering skills. That's not the point of the lab. Let's go ahead and get back on over to our Kali machine. In the next part of this lab, we're going to create a simple index.html document. This is the default document that an HTTP request will look for when it does find an HTTP server. So in the following example, we will create an index.html document and we will place it inside of the working folder. Go ahead and open up your working folder. Over in the right window pane, you're going to right click and you're going to select Create Document, and from the second context menu, Empty File. You're going to call this empty file index.html. Go ahead and create. In the lab file, I have provided some basic HTML tags. Those HTML tags can be copied and pasted into your index.html document inside of your working folder. To do this, just open it up, double click it, and right click inside of the document and select Paste. And there is the HTML tags inside of the document entitled index.html. Go ahead and close out the document. When prompted, go ahead and do a save. Go ahead and close out your working folder and go on back over to your target machine. Go ahead and hit the refresh button. And you'll see now that we have brought up that index.html document. And inside of that HTML document are some HTML tags, and when they are converted into simple human language, they read the following: Python Simple HTTP Server, part of Ethical Hacking Fundamentals. So in this short lab, you got to see how easy it is to transfer files from our Kali machine on over to a target machine using the Python 3 Simple HTTP Server. You also learned how easy it is to create a payload using MSF Venom. Lastly, you got to see how easy it is to create a default index.html document and place it inside of that working folder that is running the Python 3 Simple HTTP Server. I'm Professor K. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.